Hello, book friends. Terri from Terri Talks Books, or Ms. Terri B here on YouTube. Welcome or welcome back. I know I have another handful of new subscribers, so I want to especially welcome you. And I hope you enjoy your time spent here with me. I am bringing you all a bonus video this week because I was tagged. I'm also in a festive mood. I've got my sparkly Rudolph pin on, and I just got out my snow family. They're sitting here behind me. These were hand crocheted by one of my aunties. So they come out every season and they hang out somewhere in the house. So I thought they'd join us today. I hope you don't mind. I feel like someone's looking over my shoulder. Anyway, I cleared off. I usually have some books that I want to read imminently sitting back there on the corner of my couch. It's just a thing I do. This is in my study, so it's not messing up the living room or anything like that. So I usually have some books perched back there. It's a thing. It's just a thing. But they've been displaced by the snow people. So anyway, I want to get to this book tag that I have for you. I was tagged by Priscilla at Evening Reader. Thank you, Priscilla. I will link Priscilla's channel below, and if you're not subscribed, go over and check her out and subscribe. Apparently, she and I have been book friends for a long time. We go back to book blogging days and had lost touch with each other and have recently reconnected. So that's really fun. This is really fun for me. I have another person, Suey. She also has a channel here, and I will link her below, and we managed to reconnect. So yeah, fun times. So this is, if you're new here, this is what you have to look forward to. Man, we need a party. We do. We need a party. Maybe we can do a Zoom party. I don't know. That just came to me. But anyway, I'm here to do a book tag and not talk about Zoom parties for the Old Home Club. So I'm doing the Bookaholics Anonymous Tag, and I guess I qualify for that. It sounded like fun to me, and so there are, what, nine questions here, and I will link all these questions below, so hopefully I'll not mess this up. I've done that before. So let's get started. Let's get started. Question number 1, what do you like about buying new books? Well, my first reaction to that was to ask what is meant by new books, new to me or brand new. So I'm going to interpret that as new to me. So they can be from a used bookstore. They don't have to be brand new with uncut pages, so to speak. So what do I like about that? I like the mystery of it, maybe. What's in there? What's in that book? What worlds am I going to encounter? What kind of people am I going to meet? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be sad? Am I going to laugh? Am I going to cry? I'm just all about finding out what's in there. I'm curious. I'm just curious by nature. And so that's the effect books have on me when there's a book I haven't read. And I love acquiring them just because I can add that to the possibilities. So I think that's what I like about it the most. Question number 2, how often do you buy new books? Well, this has changed over the years. These days, I definitely buy books around my birthday in October and around Christmas and New Year, because I will get book money or certificates and can spend that, or I just decide I'm treating myself. Or I'll buy something, wrap it up, and tell my husband this is what he's giving me for Christmas, and then, you know, he can open it and be surprised and hand me the book back. So so those 2 times of years, those 2 times of year for sure. I like to buy books when I travel. I used to do that sometimes if I had to go on a business trip. I would, if I had time, go to the whatever bookshop I had, even if it was just the airport bookshop. I would go to the bookshop and often come home with a book. And these things would be, I guess I didn't need a remembrance for my business trip, but sometimes I would take a trip someplace I'd never been before. And so it was a remembrance in that respect. Of course, when we travel for vacations and things like that, or just out of town to see family, I'm always up for a visit to a bookstore. And I am likely to buy something like I did recently that I talked about, going up into a mountain town here and going to the independent bookstore. And I did come home with 2 books. So that's what, 3 times, at least 3 times a year. And then if I am working on a project, or I want to join a reading challenge and I don't have something appropriate for that I can pull from the shelves, I will buy. So how often? At least 2, maybe more. I don't go every week. I don't go every month. I don't need to. I don't need to do that anymore. So that's, I guess that's my answer. Question number 3, bookstore or online book shopping? Which do you prefer? Well, I prefer to go in person, and especially if I'm supporting one of my local bookstores, but I prefer to just be there amongst the books and browse the shelves, pick them up, flip through them, maybe read a synopsis, maybe not, maybe read the first chapter. Sometimes something just catches my eye, so it's kind of fun. It's therapeutic for me, and I don't always need to come home with a book. But yeah, I prefer to do it in person, but I will purchase books online. Yes, I do use the big box store online that's taking over the world, that shall remain nameless. I do use them sometimes. I try to use the bookstore in town here first. Let's see here. Blackwell's. I use Blackwell's. I don't know how they do that. You know, no shipping around the world. They're in England. And sometimes I'm looking for a particular book edition, a particular cover or book edition, and they will have it from the British store, but not the stores here in the US. So yeah, I actually like Blackwell's, and I used to use Book Depository. So it's a blend, but my actual preference is to be in person, to do the physical shopping right there. Do you have a favorite bookshop? Yes, it's my local one. I'm not going to put the name out here. I just don't do that. But my local store here in town, and they have mostly new books. I know most of them, and most of them know me, so it's always nice to be greeted when you come in. And I know my favorite bookseller who has similar tastes, so she's in, I'll talk to her. It's just a lovely place. They do have some used books interspersed amongst the new ones. They are marked. They will only buy or credit for books that are in very good shape. So sometimes I can get a book there for not top dollar. It's really kind of nice. So there's not a lot. It's primarily new. Plus they have other little wonderful things, you know, candles, book themed, of course. They have cashmere scarves just because they're cozy. Bookends. They have a newsstand, so sometimes I can get a magazine or periodical of some kind that I'm looking for. So yeah, I love to go in there. And I do have another one that runs a very close, very, very close second, and it's a used bookstore. It's used only, and the stock in there is just truly, truly amazing. And I can almost always find something I'm looking for, especially, you know, back catalog books. And if I'm ever looking for a Louis L'Amour or something for, you know, June on the Range, something like that, you know, I'll check there first. I'll go in there first because there's sections of that store that are very well stocked. That's one of them. So, I love that store too. And there's a bookstore cat in there. She's real friendly. She's such a sweetheart. So, oh, such a close second. It's almost hard to pick. And then, of course, I have access to 2 libraries fairly close. They're in different towns, but very close, part of the county system. So they have their library bookstore choices there. They're constantly getting books coming and going. So I will check there, and I very much enjoy supporting that. So, oh gosh, that's a really hard one. It said, do you have a favorite? Well, I have several favorites, I guess, but they're all local. They're all local to me. Question number 5, do you pre-order books? Sometimes I do. I don't usually pre-order. A lot of things I'm looking for are back catalog, classics, things like that, or I'll just wait. But I do have a few authors that I know I'm going to want them. For instance, Craig Johnson, he has crime mystery books, the Longmire series, and I pre-order. J.A. Jance is another one. She's another crime mystery, some regional stuff. So I do tend to help support the authors for books like that, and will pre-order because I know it helps their numbers and helps the bookstores know maybe how many to buy, the people are really, desiring this book. So I do that, but generally speaking, no, I don't pre-order. I just wait. It's also fun to wait for the day that the book should arrive in the bookstore and then show up. I'm like outside the door with my nose on they have, oh my gosh, my local bookstore. It is just so cute. It's in a historic downtown area with very old buildings. And so they have a wonderful, beautiful, like the little tiled entrance that's inset. And the door is an old wooden door with glass panels in it. So, I'm likely to be out there if there's a book I want, and it's, I'll be there before they open with my nose against the window just waiting. So I don't do that. Actually, I don't put my nose in the window. I don't do that to them, but I'll be out there waving at them. I see you guys in there. Are you going to open up soon? I want my book. So yeah, I guess that was my answer to, do you pre-order books? I think it's more fun to go pick it up if I can. Let's see here. I guess I could pre-order through my bookstore. Didn't really think about that. They usually will get something in, and I don't need to do that, but I could, yeah. Number 6, do you have a monthly book buying limit? No, not really. No, I don't limit myself that way. I don't really need to. These days, I don't tend to buy as much as I used to. So I don't really need to limit myself. And that really plays into book buying bans. Are they something for you? That is question number 7. Those 2 questions go together for me. So I don't really have a book buying limit. I don't really ban myself from buying books. Main reason for that is because the minute that I do that, I'm going to want to go buy books. It's like the wet paint. Wet paint, don't touch. I suddenly have this immediate urge to touch it. The wait person sits the plate down in front of me at a restaurant and says, "That's really hot, don't touch it." I immediately have this impulse to just check, make sure it's really that hot. It's not that hot. I have burnt my finger a few times. They're usually not that hot, but anyway, it's the same thing. If I ban myself from buying books, then I suddenly need this to have a book and to go to buy a book. This just compulsion, this urge. So I just don't bother. So the only reason I'd probably do that is if I chose that as something for Lent, something like that, a discipline like that. I guess I could come up with some other reason why I might do that for a limited period of time, but generally speaking, no, I don't, because then I immediately want to go buy books. I think I need some retail therapy today, that kind of thing. So I think I answered that question. Let's see. Question number 8. How big is your wish list? Well, my first question there is which one? I have more than one. Hang on a second. I need to pull one of them up here on my screen. I do keep a wish list on the Big A online. You know what I'm talking about. I keep that there mostly for friends and family who wouldn't know what to buy me. They want to buy me a book because they know I love getting books as gifts, but they're not sure what to pick. They don't know what I already have. They don't know what I've been wanting. And so it just makes things easier for them. So I do throw books at that, and I should probably clean that out about now. I don't know when was the last time I cleaned that out. I don't know. So yeah, so I do that, and I have no idea how many are on that. I need to make that reasonable because that's overwhelming for the purpose I have it there for other people. That could be overwhelming. And the other one is my to-read list on Goodreads. And I did look to see what is on there, and I think it was $3.95. I think 395 books on that. I should probably clear that out as well. So some of these are there, and they say to read because, and I already have them. Some of them I don't own, so I'm trying to find some of those that I've put on there. I can see one. Did I? Oh, that's the next question. Sorry, guys. How big is your wish list? Okay, so Goodreads is a to-read list, and it's $395. And I don't know what's on my Amazon list. And I don't know if I have a written list anymore. Sometimes I'll write something down in my journal, something I carry around with me. But then I usually transfer that over to Goodreads or the Big A, you know, to my wish list there. So, So let's see, next question. Number 9. Which 3 books from your wish list do you wish to own now? Okay, that's the one I almost started answering here, where I was looking through. I see here, I put fairly recently, just so I wouldn't forget, Man and Wife by Wilkie Collins. I do not have a copy of that book. And any Wilkie Collins I don't have, I wouldn't mind having. I don't know if there's others on here, on this list. Right below it, I see a title, Aurora Lee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I can't remember why. I need to start making notes on here, maybe, if I can. Aurora Lee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. So number 2, Man and Wife, definitely. There was something that intrigued me by title. I'd have to look to see if I wanted it right now. It's called The Land in Winter by Andrew Miller. So I'll go ahead and say that. I would put that maybe on one that I would like now. What else do I have? Sorry, you guys get to watch me browse. Isn't this fun? Oh, that's interesting. I have a Simone de Beauvoir, The Mandarins. Can't remember right now. Oh yeah, this would be an immediate one. Is this 3 now? Well, I'm going to give you 2. I don't think I have either one of these. The Gunfighters, How Texas Made the West Wild, and then Gunfighter Nation, The Myth of the Frontier in 20th Century America. I don't know how hard those books are going to be for me to get. But this fits in with a personal interest of mine. I've talked about it in various videos about the mythos of the American West, the mythos of the gunslinger. It's just something that interests me. I considered actually getting a PhD. At one time, I thought about getting a PhD in American Studies and focus on that, the mythos of the American West, or probably maybe even it might be something to be focused down to, you know, to the mythos of the gunslinger. in the West. So that's more than 3. I'll finish this page here. Anything I don't have that just jumps out at me? Wow, that's interesting. Okay, a Virginia Woolf. I don't think I even knew existed. Genius in Ink, Virginia Woolf on how to read. Huh. Fane by Anne Marie MacDonald. I think a few of you are reading Fane, F-A-Y-N-E. Okay, I could just keep going. I gave you at least 4, so there you go. There you go. Those are some that I'd pick right away to get those books. Is that it? I think so. Number 10, who do I tag? Well, I usually completely cop out on this. I didn't go and look, but Britta Bowler, if you have not done this and you feel like doing a tag, go for it. Doris Sander, sorry, I do that to you all the time. Doris Sander, I tag you if you have not done this one. You may have done this one. And then, of course, any of the rest of you who have not done this tag and would like to, I will be leaving these questions in the description box below. So, you know, if you would like to do this tag, let me know if you do it. Let me know that you've done this. And if you don't want to do the tag, but you feel like answering some of these questions, go ahead and do that in the comments below. I think that would be fun to do that. I think over the years, I've probably answered many of these questions within the body of some other video, but I don't think I've ever put them all together like this. So just keep the conversation going. I think it's kind of fun. These are kind of fun topics, and just see what other people are doing, and you know what they're interested in, and how they go about doing the acquisition or non-acquisition of books, I guess, is mostly what's going on here. So anyway, I think that's all I want to say about that topic. I will let you all go, and I'm going to cruise around and see whose videos I haven't watched yet. Y'all have been busy. You're keeping me very busy. Yeah, I hardly have time to read. I'm trying to put videos up and participate, be consistent. And then, of course, I have to go around and visit. I have to watch videos and visit. So, you know, any tips on how you get the reading done? Anyway, I'll talk to you all later, book friends. Bye-bye.